Now there's a couple things that you'll see here. This menu is shows you a whole bunch of different things that you can do, and there's some different options you can choose. We're going to be using Expert, this Expert tab here, for our time in these tutorials. So I want you to go ahead and select that, and you should see a pretty typical Photoshop page here with the kind of a blank canvas to start with. So hopefully you guys have chosen some images online. If not, if I forgot to tell you guys to do that, what you're going to do is you're going to go online. You're going to look for 3 to 4 images of something that you enjoy, maybe a hobby or a sport or a sports team, something that you really like. Find 4 different separate images that we're going to combine into one collage. I've gone ahead and I've done that already, so I'm going to show you guys how to open them. So you need to download them onto the computer and save them somewhere where you know you can find them. Once you've done that, maybe just pause this if you haven't. Once you've done that, come back to it. We're going to open. See, if I've already brought mine in here, but I'm going to show you guys what you need to do. You need to go to File, Open, find your files. Here's some of the ones that I brought in. So I'm going to open up these files, and I'm going to open up a whole bunch of them here. And I've named mine so I kind of know what they are. Okay, so I'm going to do mine on mountain biking, which is something that I enjoy doing in the summer. And so I have these 3 separate images here, a bike that I would really like to have one day, a nice set of track that I think would be a lot of fun to ride, and some guys that are way better at biking than I am. Okay, so what we're gonna start by doing is we're gonna make sure we select this photo bin down in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, and that brings up all the images that I have down here in this little bin. Now I'm gonna select one of these to be my background image, and I'm gonna say maybe I'm gonna have this as my background image. This is gonna be in the very back of the photo collage that I create, and everything else is kind of gonna be blended on top of that. And what I'm going to do first is I'm going to grab this image or grab another image that I want to add, and I'm going to drag it and pull it into my selection. Alright, so now my background, this might pop up, just click OK. So this is now hiding my background. Now if you want to move this image, you can select this move tool and we can resize this. Control Z, I don't want to do that. Let me just show you something quickly. If you're resizing your image, it will always ask you if you want to confirm or cancel. Confirm or cancel. If you don't select one of these, everything else is locked until you do. So if you want to undo it, just hit cancel, or if you want to confirm it, hit confirm. I want to keep mine large, but I want to move mine up maybe to the top of the page just so I have the bike there, part of the bike there. Perfect. All right. What I want to do now that I'm happy with where my image is overlapped, I mean this isn't much of a collage right now, I can't really see any of the background image, and I'd like them to kind of blend together a little bit more. I'm going to select, there should be, and you might have a layers menu on the side over here. This is our layers menu. It shows us all the layers that are there. If you do not see this, you'll need to select window, and you'll need to select layers. Okay, now I'm on a Mac, so it might be a little different than you. But it will be under the window menu and then in layers. Okay, I'm going to select my layer that is not the background. Okay, so it's on top, it's the copied image, and I'm going to select this, which is the add layer mask tool. Okay, so I have my copied picture selected. I'm going to select my add layer mask tool, and I now have this white screen beside here. Okay, with that selected, I'm going to go over here to the draw menu, and I'm going to select this gradient tool. There's a couple things that we have to make sure that we have selected with our gradient tool, and I'll show you the first one. The first one should be that we want to have default. We want to select this one here, which if I leave my cursor over it, it's the black to white one, not the foreground to background. It's the black to white one. Okay. I'll select that one, and then the other thing I'm going to select is linear. So there's radial, there's angle, there's reflected, diamond, and linear. I'm going to use linear for this one. You guys can use what you like or play around with it after, but I want you to have at least one linear gradient transition. Now you'll notice that nothing has happened yet on my collage. To make something happen, what I do now is I kind of have this crosshair tool on my image, and if I select, I'm going to be implementing a mask over my one layer to make it blend into the other. So I'm going to select at the bottom of my image, I'm going to start dragging up, and if I want this to be a really perfectly straight line, I'm going to hold the shift button and it will make it a very perfectly straight line. If I let go of the shift button, it might be all kind of wobbly. I'm going to make it a straight line. Again, you can play around with this, and when I'm all set, I'm going to let go. And what I've done is I've blended these two layers. Now there's a whole bunch of different ways you can do this. If you like this, great. If not, you can keep playing around with it. I can pull down from this side to the other. I don't really like that because it left this sharp line here. I don't think that looks very good. So I'm going to try this again. I'm going to pull down from the bottom to the top. That looks much better. Maybe I want to try it from here to here. Again, I don't really like the look of that one. So you can play around with it, and each time you drag and drop, it will redo the gradient over here. You can see how this changes each time I pull it. Okay. So what I've done is I've now blended two photos so I can see them, and now I can see this really cool cross-country bike behind this feature that would be a lot of fun to ride. If I want to do this again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open my photo bin. I'm going to grab my new photo. Oops. Make sure you grab with just one click and drag it in. If you click quickly on this, you'll go to that one. So just grab it with one click and one smooth motion, bring it in, and we're going to do the exact same thing. So let's say, okay, I want to move this photo now. I'm going to move it down near the bottom here. Okay, I'm going to add a layer mask. I want it to be a gradient. I have my black to white selected. Have my linear selected, and you can play around with your opacity as well, right? If you have a lower opacity, it won't be as see-through as the other one, but I kind of like the effect of having a higher opacity. Okay, I'm going to click and drag down here. I want to use hold shift to get this nice straight line, and there we go. I've blended three photos into kind of a photo of my own making that would could be a really cool desktop background for me.